Since making the Stanley Cup final a few years ago, Montreal has struggled to find any type of success, but I'm going to take over and I'm going to turn that around. After every season, I'm going to add one legend to this team until they get themselves a Stanley Cup. So with that being said, let's go get this team a Stanley Cup. In season number 1, Montreal is going to be doing better than expected, finishing with a 40-33-9 record, which is good enough for 18th in the entire league, while Nick Suzuki, he's leading the way with 70 points, consisting of 17 goals and 53 assists, while Jake the Snake, he's going to pick up 33 wins with a 904 save percentage and a 302 goals against. Looking at the entire league, Brad Marchand's going to be leading the way with 44 goals and 58 assists for 102 points, while Andrei Vasilevsky, he's picking up 42 wins with a 919 save percentage and 244 goals against. Taking a look at the postseason, Tampa Bay is going to go on to win another Stanley Cup, and they're defeating the Vancouver Canucks in 7 games. The current Vancouver Canucks. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And Vasilevsky, he's putting up some incredible numbers in the postseason. Of course, he's picking up 16 wins, but that 937 save percentage and 190 goals against is absolutely incredible. With our very first spin, we're going to be selecting a player from the Calgary Flames. And of course, that player's got to be Jarome Iginla. Now, I could have went with Mike Vernon to get ourselves a goaltender early on, but I wasn't feeling it. Jarome Iginla, he's going to be our guy. Jarome Iginla is making an immediate impact for the team as we're going to finish with a 43-33-6 record, 12th in the entire league, and Montreal's making the postseason. Iginla's going to have himself a solid season. He's picking up 75 points, consisting of 27 goals and 48 assists, but that's not as good as Alexander Ovechkin. 37-year-old Alexander Ovechkin, 57 goals, 43 assists, 100 points, and he's leading the entire league. I don't think anyone would have expected 37-year-old Alexander Ovechkin to be leading the way, because I certainly didn't. So in our first postseason appearance, we're going to be taking on the Boston Bruins. Boston's not going to put up much of a fight. We're going to take them down in 5 games, and here we are in the second round, and we're taking on the Ottawa Senators. Ottawa's going to be incredibly similar to Boston, as they're not going to put up a fight whatsoever. We're taking them down in 5 games, and here we are in the conference finals. We're taking on the Pittsburgh Penguins. The fact that we just made the conference finals after adding only one legend doesn't make any sense whatsoever. But it looks like reality is finally setting in. We're falling to the Pittsburgh Penguins in a 7-game series, and the Penguins, they go on to win the Stanley Cup in 7 games over the Calgary Flames of all teams. Leading the way in the postseason with Suzuki and Iginla, they're both tied with 21 points, while Sid the Kid, he's going to lead all postseason scores with 33. With our next spin, we're going to get the chance of an amazing defenseman as we're going to land on the Boston Bruins, and of course, I'm talking about Ray Bourque. Obviously, if Bob Orr was an option, I would have went with him, but he's not, so Ray Bourque, welcome to the team. And for some reason, Ray's not going to help the team whatsoever. We're actually much worse. 35, 37, and 10, and we're finishing 27th in the entire league, missing the playoffs. What's going on here? And Ray Bourque, he's going to have himself a pretty solid season for a defenseman. He's picking up 15 goals and 50 assists for 65 points, but no one's season could compete with Frederik Andersen's 48 wins, 10 shutouts, a 920 save percentage, and 237 goals against. Nah, the fact that this dude picked up 10 shutouts while picking up 48 wins in the process, he's just built different. In the postseason, the Pens are going to go on to win another Stanley Cup, and of course, Sidney Crosby, he's going to lead the way once again with 35 points. With our next spin, we're getting a chance at another great defenseman as we're landing on the New York Islanders, and Dennis Potvin, welcome to the team. Montreal's going to see a bit more success than we did last season, finishing with a 40-37-5 record. That's still not enough to make the playoffs as we're finishing 22nd. And Potvin, a similar season to Ray Bourque last season, 14 goals, 51 assists, 65 points. Keep up the great work. Looking at the entire league, Patrick Kane's going to lead the way. He's picking up 110 points, but of those 110, he's picking up 62 goals in the process. I never would have expected those numbers, especially with the Chicago team he has around him. And the surprises continue. And I'm not talking about the Colorado Avalanche defeating the Tampa Bay Lightning in 5 games, but leading the way in the postseason, Vladimir Nichushkin. Yeah, not Nathan McKinnon, not Mikko Rantanen, not Landeskog, not Cale Makar. No, Vladimir Nichushkin. 7 goals, 15 assists, 22 points in 19 games. Hey, gotta give respect where respect is due. Alright, so I wasn't thinking when I created this wheel, and our next spin's gonna be landing on the Vegas Golden Knights. Clearly, Vegas doesn't have any legends on their team, so we're gonna consider Vegas Quebec. Just go with it. Quebec has an alumni team, Vegas doesn't. Yeah, my bad. So Montreal's having a great season. We're finishing 11th in the entire league with a 43-29-10 record, but we're missing the playoffs. Missing the playoffs after finishing 11th in the entire league. Yeah, that's tough. That's real tough. And Joe Sakic, he's having himself an alright year. 33 goals and 39 assists for 72 points, but I guess you can say Joe Sakic's winning a Stanley Cup this season because the Colorado Avalanche are going to sweep the Detroit Red Wings to hoist another Stanley Cup. And Alexander Gordiev, 16 wins, but he also had 5 shutouts in the postseason. Our next spin has us landing on the Washington Capitals, so I'm going to pick up Mike Gardner. He's a good two-way forward. He's definitely going to be a big help to this team. Alright, so I just want to show you guys at the halfway point, the top 2 teams in the league are the Arizona Coyotes and the Montreal Canadiens. Imagine if this happened in real life. I love how realistic this simulation is. When the season came to an end, Montreal's sticking at the top. We're going to finish first in the entire league with a 51-27-4 record, and of course that means we're making the playoffs. And Gardner, you were a key part to this team. 22 goals, 50 assists, 72 points. Definitely wouldn't have done it without you. And the top goaltender in the league, Jake the Snake. You heard that right, Jake Allen. He's at the top, 42 wins, a 909 save percentage, and a 263 goals against. Keep up the great work, my guy. Now let's go get a Stanley Cup. So in the first round, we're taking on the Buffalo Sabres. Now normally, I would say something about us trying to pass the Buffalo Sabres in subscribers, but we already did that. We have officially passed the Buffalo Sabres in YouTube subscribers subscribers, now we got a new foe, the Dallas Stars. Currently, this team has more subs than me, but with 76% of the people watching these videos not subscribed, if even 3% of you guys subscribe, we'll be able to pass this team. So if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe and turn notifications on so you can be notified when I upload. And of course, it should be no surprise, Buffalo's going to be no match for us, and we're taking them down in 6 games. And then the second round, we're going to take on the Florida Panthers, and I'm expecting them to put up a bit more of a fight. And Florida's definitely going to put up a bigger fight, because a 3-1 series lead is going to be too much to overcome, and we're going to fall in 6 games. And when the postseason came to an end, the Winnipeg Jets are going to go on to hoist the Stanley Cup. Gardner's having himself a solid postseason. He's going to lead the way with 15 points. While Connor Hellebuyck, 16 wins, 4 shouts, a .229 save percentage, and a .220 goals against. You definitely deserve that Stanley Cup. With our next spin, I think it's about time we pick up a goaltender, and we're going to get a chance at a great one. We're landing on the Toronto Maple Leafs, and Johnny Bower, welcome to the team. At the end of the season, the Canadiens continue to look elite, 51, 27, and 4. We're first in the entire league once again, and Johnny Bower, 39 wins, a .916 save percentage, and a .247 goals against. The numbers are looking great, my guy. And in the first round of the postseason, it looks like we're going to get our revenge. We're taking on the Florida Panthers. And Florida, they're going to be absolutely no match for us. We're taking them down in 5 games, but now we got a tougher matchup in the Tampa Bay Lightning. We already know who's on this Tampa Bay team, and it should be no surprise they're going to be taking us down in 6 games. And Tampa, they're also going on to win the Stanley Cup final at the end of the playoffs. And the playoffs, Joe Sakic is going to be the guy for us. He's picking up 5 goals and 11 assists for 16 points. I think this next pick is going to be the easiest by far. We're landing on the Edmonton Oilers, and Wayne Gretzky, welcome to the team. There's no reason for me to pause. There's no reason for me to think about who we're selecting. Wayne Gretzky carried the way. At the end of the season, Montreal continues to dominate the league, 57, 19, and 6. We're first once again. Wayne Gretzky, an absolutely incredible season from you. I shouldn't be surprised. 55 goals, 49 assists, 104 points. But you know who is more impressive than you? Connor McDavid. 60 goals, 65 assists, 125 points. Does this prove Connor McDavid's better than Wayne Gretzky? Debate that one in the comments below. And the dominant seasons continue as Johnny Bower, he's picking up 50 wins, a .918 save percentage, and 234 goals against. It's time for us to get a Stanley Cup. But first, we got to get through the New York Islanders, but I'm not worried about this team whatsoever. So I think I should have been worried because we're falling in 6 games. Yeah, that's tough. That's real tough. And Joe Sakic, 6 points in 6 games. Gretzky, you didn't even lead the way for us. You failed me. With our next spin, we're landing on the Seattle Kraken. Once again, this was another mistake, so we're going to consider Seattle the Hartford Whalers. And who are we selecting from Hartford? Of course, it's got to be Mr. Hockey, Gordie Howe. So Montreal continues to dominate the league. We're finishing first with a 55-19-8 record. Wayne Gretzky, he's going to have a great season once again. 94 points, and Johnny Bower, 48 wins to lead the league. Let's just win a Stanley Cup. So we got the Leafs in the first round. This should be light work. Toronto never wins in the first round. And that's exactly what's going to happen. We're taking them down 6 games. Now we got the Ottawa Senators in the second round. This should be light work as well. And once again, I'm going to be right. This is light work for us. We're taking them down 5 games. And now we got the Washington Capitals in the conference finals. The only thing I'm concerned about right now is Ovi's going crazy in the postseason. And it looks like Ovi's probably the man that stopped us. We're falling in 6 games, and the Capitals are going on to win the Stanley Cup. Gretzky, all right numbers from you in the postseason, but I'm still expecting more. 9 goals and 9 assists for 18 points, while Alexander Ovechkin in 22 games picked up 21 goals and 10 assists for 31 points. This dude averaged a goal per game in the playoffs. Yeah, he's kind of built different. Our next spin's going to have us landing on the Winnipeg Jets, and Sergei Savard, we need another defenseman, so welcome to the team. It should be no surprise we're finishing first once again with a 58, 19, and 5 record, but who cares? We need to win when it matters most. Looking at the entire league, Gretzky's going to be tied with Nathan McKinnon for 98 points, and in the first round we got the Ottawa Senators. All I'm saying is if we're going to lose in the postseason, you better not lose to Ottawa. Alright, the team's not going to completely disappoint me. Although we are dropping 2 games, we're going to beat them in 6. Now we have the Florida Panthers in the second round. This team's beat us, but we've also beat them, but we're a better team now, so this should be light work for us. We just blew a 3-0 series lead. We had a 3-0 series lead and then lost 4 straight. And then the Panthers won the Stanley Cup. Yeah, that's great. Alright, I'm sick and tired of this. Next spin, New York Rangers. I'm making a very controversial pick here. I'm going with Brian Leetch. We need another defenseman, and I think he can fill the role for us. Apparently, I know absolutely nothing though, because we're finishing with a 50, 21, and 11 record and dropping to 3rd in the entire league. That's just absolutely fantastic. And Gretzky, he's going to have the worst season since adding him to the team, 79 points. Wayne Gretzky, 79 points. You're supposed to be the leader of this team, and you just scored 79 points. Absolutely despicable. And Johnny Bower, 42 wins, a .914 save percentage, and a 239 goals against. I can't really be mad about those numbers. You're actually looking pretty elite. Alright boys, it's time to lock in. No more failing. No more first round exits. No more second round exits. We're winning a Stanley Cup this season. We got Tampa in the first round, and I'm incredibly concerned. I really wouldn't be surprised if we got swept. But it looks like the opposite's going to happen. We're going to sweep the Tampa Bay Lightning, and now we got the Boston Bruins in the second round. Boston's not putting up a fight either. We're taking them down 5 games, and now we have the Columbus Blue Jackets in the conference Conference Finals. How did Columbus make it further than Boston and Tampa? You know what? I'm not going to question it. Let's take them down and then head to a Stanley Cup. And for once, the team's actually going to listen to me. We're going to win back-to-back games in Game 5 and Game 6, and we're off to the Stanley Cup Final. And in the Stanley Cup Final, we're taking on the Los Angeles Kings. You know what? We're getting so lucky, I'm not even going to question it. We had a 2-0 series lead to start the series, and then we lost 3 straight games, but we're coming out on top in Game 6 and 7, and we're hoisting a Stanley Cup. Gretzky and Bork, they're both going to lead the way. They're picking up 20 points each. While Johnny Bower, 16 wins with a .919 save percentage and 226 goals against. Why did this take so long? I understand Montreal's not a great team by any means, but how many legends did we need to add before this team was somewhat competent? Absolutely ridiculous.